Hey guys, Kyle the Dead Knight of Anime here, bringing you a late night review of One Piece chapter 893. And just to immediately start off and correct myself, Luffy getting stabbed wasn't because he had a. I learned Luffy getting stabbed wasn't because he had a brief mastery of future sight. It was because Flambe had interfered with the fight, which is actually, when you look at that now, it's really ironic when you think about it, because in the end, her trying to help Katakuri win ended up actually helping Luffy actually gain more control over future sight now, and at least in this chapter. And I do like how Oda using the base explanation of basically pretty much how observation hockey works was actually put a little bit of method to pretty much all of Luffy's madness throughout this whole fight of getting the shit kicked out of him. He was basically doing it to obtain a greater understanding of future sight. So, yeah, he was basically using what we pretty much all what he was pretty much using the lessons he learned from Rayleigh in order to actually use future sight. Which, if there's anything I've known about One Piece, is that Luffy always ends up going for basically the up for basically the complete upfront method of trying to learn something. He always goes for the most insane and most I don't want to say practical, but definitely the most direct way of learning things. So yeah, him getting the shit beat out of him, but for basically the sole purpose of gaining control of future sight, of being near unconscious, so only so he could gain future sight. Yeah, that is definitely something Luffy would do. So yeah, um, and just to get this out of the way, can we all agree that Flambe was annoying and shallow as fuck in this chapter, which is another reason why I'm so glad her little plan backfired on her. And seeing Katakuri lift his scarf and scare the shit out of her was just funny as hell. Although, I will say, on top of being shallow and annoying, her behavior, and admiration for Katakuri in this chapter, and maybe a little bit before too, maybe a little bit in other chapters as well, even before he revealed his face to her, it really raised a few questions for me in raised a few questions and eyebrows for me in regards to this whole fan club business that the whole Charlotte family has going on. Because just Flambe's expressions in this chapter really hinted at some very incestuous feelings. Some really incestuous feelings that I think she has for. I'm starting to think that Flambe might have for Katakuri. I'm not going to get in depth with about that, other than saying that if she does have some very incestuous feelings for her brother, then yeah, her expressions and her feelings in this episode really creeped me the fuck out. Of course, it became funny again when she ended up getting knocked out by, I presume, a combined release of Conqueror's Hockey from both Luffy and Katakuri. So yeah, it's one of those things where, as far as Flambe goes, she's basically as far as like I guess when I'm here explaining it, I guess Flambe was basically the one part of this chapter that I really didn't like, because honestly she didn't. I guess Flambe only really came across as kind of as that character that was just kind of there, and not really a character that was really even necessary, that really didn't even have a purpose for this whole thing, other than to pretty much help Luffy understand and gain control, understand a little more about future sight. Like, that really seemed to be the only purpose she had in this chapter. I really couldn't find anything else to say that really made me say that Flambe was an enjoyable part of this chapter. Because yeah, she was just annoying, shallow, and yeah, a little incestuous in this chapter. But yeah, now onto the fight itself, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I've always thought Katakuri was an awesome antagonist from the very, very moment he was introduced. But here, like, I just never thought, I never thought that I could ever gain another level of respect for Katakuri any more than I already have. But Oda basically said, "Hold my beer," and we got this chapter because I when he basically learned of the dirty things that Flambe was doing, he basically said, "Fuck you, bitch," and basically stabbed himself in the and basically stabbed himself in the exact same place he impaled Luffy. And that was, of course, the first thing that definitely made me say, yeah, Katakuri, I I have 100 million times more respect for you, and especially the end of the chapter when he acknowledged Luffy's strength and resolve. Like, to me, that pretty much shows that to me, like, everything that Katakuri did in this chapter, it shows to me a side that says that, yes, well, Katakuri and Luffy are definitely on opposing pirate crews and in the middle of a very tenuous situation, basically considering that the Straw Hat Pirates are after Luffy's crew and whatnot. Or no, not the Straw Hat Pirates. The considering that the Big Mom Pirates are basically all have summoned their entire armada in order to chase after Luffy's crew. It just shows that even despite all this going on, and then I think even being fully aware of it, they still have enough room. They still have enough room in order to respect each other. And Katakuri doing what he did, especially by telling Flambe to fuck off again to fuck off. I think those actions in themselves also prove that he has a very honorable sense of a very honorable sense of things. Like, he a very honorable way of doing things. That if he's gonna fight someone who is definitely worth his time, he wants to make sure he wants to do it honorably and with no interference whatsoever. I guess I mean, honestly, honestly, if there's anything I think this entire chapter proved to me is that even though they ended up different, I would say that both Luffy and Katakuri actually have a lot more in common than we might have been led to believe. And 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 also we and also and I like how we also got a bit of a tease towards a little bit of a tease of what I assume we're probably going to get soon, which is of course which is Katakuri's backstory. And I mean, we've pretty much we've known all this time that one of Oda's greatest specialties is his basically art of crafting the backstory. And even though we got a small tease of it, and I don't know if we're gonna get more, we definitely know that when Oda crafts his backstories, it's probably gonna be sad as fuck. Honestly, like, if you ever do get a backstory for Katakuri, it's gonna be interesting. I know that for sure, and it's really interesting how Flambe, who was calling her brother, I think, Eelface. It was Flambe calling Katakuri Eelface, I think, is, I don't know what it was. I think Eelface, but yeah, it was being called Eelface that ended up triggering it. So we of course know that Katakuri's appearance is definitely not something he likes to talk about. But I'm sure that Oda's got an entire, like I said before, Oda's got an entire backstory plan for that, and whatever is, it's probably gonna be sad as fuck. So yeah. Now, getting back to the fight itself, Katakuri knowing Conqueror's Haki, it was an interesting twist, don't get me wrong. And it was kind of expected, definitely considering he's one of the high-ranking officers of high-ranking officers or suite generals in Big Mom's crew. Although as weird as it sounds, I'm hoping no one else in the Charlotte family has that hockey, other than him and Big Mom. I want to assume has it as well. Other than him and Big Mom, sorry, yeah, other than him and Big Mom, I know she has it. I hope no one else other than him and Big Mom have it, because otherwise this is really going to mess up with the lore behind what Conqueror's King Hockey is, and well, we could, and in a way, I guess we could already. In a way, it kind of already is walking that tightrope with basically with the revelations of all these people that know it, but no one have it. But at the same time, I guess there are still a lot less people. At the same time, I think Oda is doing a good job at keeping it to a point where there's still a lot less people that actually have and know Conqueror's hockey compared to those who know like the other types of hockey. So in a way, I think it still works. Definitely still works here. So yeah. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. That's Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.